What do you get when you put two Minnesotans and a guy from Wisconsin together? Twist. The weekend sports talk. Get ready for some sports chatter where there's sure to be laughing, arguing, and maybe even crying. Now, here are your hosts, Mike Reeves, Matt Benz, and Greg Green Bay Bauman.
What's going on, Twist Nation? Welcome, man.
Here we are. New intro, new episode of Twist, the weekend sports talk, episode 26. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in live. We are a live, interactive show. You can also catch us on all the podcast platforms and, of course, on the RTF Sports Network and rtfsportsnetwork.com. Happy Sunday day to you, fellas. How are you?
Gorgeous. I'm doing okay.
I wasn't talking to you, Greg, you Green Bay bastard.
Are you saying I'm gorgeous, Greg?
No, I'm gorgeous.
No,
I'm feeling gorgeous.
Thank you,
God. I'd give him a haircut in his head. I don't know if I'm going to be able to cut it
Look at
anymore
that.
after that big-ass head.
Look at that.
Top-notch
Tight.
haircut.
Unbelievable.
Even trim the beard.
Tight.
Beautiful sunny day, and it's a beautiful day for Twist.
Yep.
We got a great episode, guys. We got a couple new things. We got a new segment later on in the show. We also have a brand new game. I'm surprised Doge over there came on the show. He's pissed, and we'll get to that later. But first and foremost, we're going to kick off the show with an interview with Dante Powell. His full-length album debuted at #1 on Amazon, The Squirrels Get Fat, and is in the top 10 right now. Let's bring on Dante.
Dante, what's up, man?
Not much, man. How you guys doing?
Oh, we're living
Fabulous.
the dream. Living the dream.
So
Good,
you're
good.
appreciate you having us here, or appreciate you coming on. You got me with that laugh there. Do you laugh at your own jokes like that too?
Absolutely, I do. I'm hilarious, man. I laugh at my jokes all the time.
I do the same thing.
Yeah, Greg
If
is
no
in
one-
that same boat.
If no one else thinks you're funny, at least you do.
Yeah, right. I mean, you seem like a funny guy to me, so laugh.
Funny
looking.
looking.
Yeah, there it is. Excellent.
So you're in Des Moines, Iowa as of now, right?
That is correct. Yes.
And that's where you live and do most of your stand-up? I didn't know Iowa was an epicenter for comedy.
I mean, it wasn't until I got here.
No doubt.
That a boy.
I mean, I moved here in 2012 for a woman, and I just decided to stick it out, and now here we are.
Excellent. So what's it like being #1 on the charts?
It's pretty cool actually. So I'm from a small town in Louisiana, and no one there ever told me, hey, you can go be #1 on the charts with a comedy album. The best I could offer in terms of success that you could look to and be like, oh, that's greatness is Hall of Famer Willis Reed is from my hometown. Hall of Famer Karl Malone is from the next town over. So I had seen these instances of greatness, but I didn't know I could just go and do it myself.
Yeah, that's definitely an accomplishment of it itself, just to get out and, have some faith in yourself and believe that you can produce some serious entertainment. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. It's I don't know how I got here, but I'm very happy to be here. Very proud of the achievement.
What I'd like to know, Dante, is at what point in your life did things that you say that you realize people thought were funny, at what point did you realize that you can actually make a career out of it?
So I've always been the goofy person. I was the goofy kid. In the middle of chaos at home, I'd always say the silly thing. I've just always been that way. But I didn't, I had grown up and become an adult before I ever started stand-up. I was 26 when I started. And so, I just had a friend who was like, hey, man, I think you're funny. I think you should do stand-up. Because I watched so much stand-up, I would go to live shows and things like that. And so until my friend Johnny was like, hey, man, I think you're funny. I think you should try this. I was just kind of just admiring from afar.
Yeah, I got you on social media. You're connected to a lot of, stand-ups here in Minnesota. I saw you were talking about maybe even coming up this way, everything going on with George Floyd's death. And are you still planning to come to Minneapolis and maybe protest?
I think I may come up Monday and just bring supplies. I kind of just wanted to help if I could. I didn't want to be in the middle of stuff just to be in the middle of it. And we've got our own protests and rioting and stuff happening here in Des Moines. So I've just kind of been taking people water and, checking on the people in the community that I know of, kind of looking out for them a little bit. But I may be coming to Minneapolis on Monday just to take some stuff to some friends who are helping the community there.
Do you feel that in this day and age, now whether it's COVID over the past couple of months or what's been going on in Minneapolis and nationwide over the past week, do you feel that you have a therapeutic value to people to not so much make people laugh, but at least put a lighthearted spin on things just to kind of keep people, that sense of just, maybe give people a laugh every now and again? Do you feel that's important?
Man, that's a good question. I think more so I feel the responsibility to just be earnest and truthful in what I'm seeing. The funny comes later. Like the funny comes when I'm actually just applying my personal perspective to whatever it is, because that's I'm funny. And then when I see these things, it's up to me to translate it into what am I seeing? And it sometimes it does serve as therapeutic. People look at it and they go, oh, okay, that makes that a little bit easier to digest. And sometimes people look at it and it's the opposite of therapeutic. It causes them anxiety because they know, oh man, Dante is honest. He's not going to sugarcoat it for us. If he's saying this thing is bad, then it's probably bad. And that's something that maybe they've never thought of or experienced before.
Yeah, when we decided to do a live show, that's about as funny as we got, is so people could look at Greg and laugh.
That's not nice, man.
You see me, Dante, I'm 6'4". I look like a freaking human version of a giraffe. Yeah.
That's awesome. At least you can joke with each other. That's what it's about, I think.
Yeah, we have a good time. We're great friends, but obviously jab each other on the show. And we've, with no sports going on, we've kept every weekly episode going and had to steer left and right to maintain a show. And sometimes, pull the rabbit out of the hat to maintain a weekly show. So it's nice that stuff's starting to gear back up. And you mentioned you were from Louisiana. You're a Saints fan, LSU, Pelicans. The Vikings just drafted a guy out of LSU. I don't know if you know much about Justin Jefferson, but we're excited to have him here.
I know that when I saw that you guys drafted him, my first thought was, I bet he's going to catch a touchdown to ruin the Saints season next year.
Yeah,
you've been the bane of my existence for the past few seasons, and I just
it's very rare a Minnesota team can say that about, other teams, that we have the upper hand. So it's nice to hear that.
I'm not going to let you get away with that. Oh. I let you guys do that, but only on the condition that we've got a Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
Bounty Gate.
You know what? Everyone was doing it. We're just the Lance Armstrong in this situation. We're just Lance. Don't.
You guys just said Greg Williams and he made it obvious. Yeah.
So you lost a big star for the Pelicans and Anthony Davis, and then you got the NBA draft rigged in your favor to get Zion Williamson, which I'm sure he won't stay longer than his rookie contract. But as of now, it's pretty exciting to have one of the best phenoms since LeBron James in town. No?
That you're correct. My mom is a season ticket holder. She loves Zion. Everyone loves Zion. And I think he's gonna be a Pelican for life. I really do.
Well, I mean, we can understand that being the Minnesota market and having all this talent, usually leave town. That's really tough to build a franchise around. But, we hope you guys nothing but the best down there because Zion is something to really watch. I mean, dude's incredible. So
He is, man. I can't believe how immediate his impact was. You know what I mean? Like he got there and he first game out, he's like, all right, let's do this. He's knocking down threes. I mean, he's just all around a good kid though. Like that's what blows my mind is when someone that talented and that ready for the big stage is able to come out and be incredible. I love it.
Yeah, the electricity that he brings to every game it puts butts in the seats when they can actually sit there. So it's crazy, man.
I was surprised to hear that, obviously you're a fan of these Louisiana teams, but then you're a Yankee fan, which as Twins fans, we do not like, but a Laker fan as well, which I'm a Laker fan too, mostly because of LeBron James.
Okay, well so those are. Here's the thing. When you grow up in a small town in Louisiana, your options are a little limited. And a lot of people don't know this, but in the 90s, George Steinbrenner would actually bring the Yankees to scrimmage against the baseball team at Grambling State University. And I grew up 15 minutes from there. So I remember going to one of those scrimmages and I saw rookie year, Derek Jeter and Andy Pettit and Bernie Williams and all those guys, before they became who they ended up becoming. And so that really stuck with me. And I was blown away by the real life Yankees being that close to where I was. It just was shocking.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate the short notice for you coming on the show.
Yes.
For everybody listening and watching, you can find Dante Powell on Twitter at Comedian Dante. And be sure, once you're done watching our episode, to go on Amazon and get the Squirrels Get Fat. Appreciate you coming on, Dante.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you having me. This was fun.
Thanks a lot, Dante.
Sir. God bless.
Bye-bye.
Take care, brothers.
There we go.
That was fun. Number 1 on the charts.
Debuted number 1 in the top 10. How sweet is that?
Excellent.
You definitely got to go YouTube him and check him out.
He is funny.
Beautiful.
Let's get it going.
Headlines for the week. Here we go. The first headline involves minor league baseball. Minor league baseball has cut hundreds of players amid pandemic, sources say. Hundreds of minor league baseball players were cut Thursday, and hundreds more are expected to lose their jobs as the sport grapples with the near certainty that minor league baseball season will be canceled.
Who cares about minor league baseball? Let's talk about some real shit.
All right, number 2. Here's some real shit for you.
Thank you.
NHL's Bettman touts comprehensive plan for 24-team Stanley Cup playoff after coronavirus shutdown. The commissioner, Gary Bettman, told Special Report Thursday that his league has crafted a comprehensive plan for players to resume personal training and gear up for a special 24-team Stanley Cup playoff tournament that will be held in 2 hub cities to be determined.
I think you would.
Nobody cares.
Oh, yes, we
It's
do.
all about the
I was just
biscuit.
gonna
Come on.
Mike just said, give me some real news, and Matt goes to the
NHL
NHL.
playoff Stanley Cups. Oh, I love it. All right, number 3. Here you guys go. I'll throw you a bone.
There we go.
NBA
Yes.
executives prefer play-in tournament to World Cup style group stage for 2020 playoffs. The NBA is moving full steam ahead with its plan to resume play later this summer. It's almost certain that the action will take place at Disney World in Orlando, but there are still some logistical issues to sort out. There you go. There's some hope on the horizon. Number 4, NCAA offers plan to bring athletes back to campus. The NCAA's Division I Council voted last week to lift a memorandum on athletic activities starting Monday. That cleared the way for voluntary workouts and training to begin at team facilities. There you go.
Hmm.
Excellent. NCAA. That's all I got for this week.
All right. Well, thank you. And now it's that time.
Oh, here we go.
Time to get learned.
Tell them. Oh, it's just therapeutic.
Isn't it?
It just brings us all together.
Oh, all right. Today in history. In 1087, German Emperor Henry IV. What's IV stand for, Greg? Henry IV the Fourth crowns his son Conrad. Very exciting news back in 1087. In 1431, 100-Year War. 19-year-old Joan of Arc is burned at the stake by English-dominated tribunal, ruined France.
That war actually took like 112 years.
Jesus Christ, Greg. 1498, Christopher Columbus departs with 6 ships for third trip to America. In 1806, future U.S. President Andrew Jackson kills Charles Dickinson in a duel after Dickinson accused Jackson's wife of bigamy.
I challenge you to a duel.
Those were the days. You're going to call my wife a bigamist? We're going to a duel to the death.
There you go.
That's when shit got done.
That was the real deal right there.
Oh,
Freaking then he got elected president. Unbelievable. Back to the future.
America.
1922, Cubs swap Max Flack for Cards Cliff Heathcote during middle of a doubleheader.
Oh.
Both play for both teams that day. Doubleheader, it's like, I'll swap you him for him and fucking swap jerseys. That's pretty sweet. 1935, Babe Ruth's final game.
Ooh.
Goes hitless for the Braves against Philly.
Ouch.
He was drunk. 1955, Jake the Snake Roberts, American wrestler,
Yeah.
was born in Texas. 1967, Yankee Whitey Ford, nearing 41, announces his retirement from baseball. Oh. 1967, Robert Evel Knievel's motorcycle jumped 16 automobiles in California. I think he was drunk too. 1968, the Beatles begin to work on their only double album, self-titled Beatles.
How was that, Greg?
I just find it funny that you had to say what the name of the self-titled album was. It would be Beatles.
Oh, there you go. Greg's a big fan.
1974, CeeLo Green, born in Atlanta, Georgia.
I think I'm crazy.
1981, Nightline extends from 4 nights to 5 nights a week. That last day being Friday. Okay. 1986, Barry Bonds makes his MLB debut for who, Greg?
Pittsburgh Pirates.
All right.
This was pre-roids.
1987, Iron Mike Tyson knocks out Pinklin Thomas in 6 for the heavyweight boxing title.
Excellent.
1992, Minnesota Twins, Bert Blyleven is second to win a game as a teenager and a 40-year-old.
Circle me, Bert.
Circle him. And in 2019,
That was last year.
singer R. Kelly charged with 11 new counts of sexual assault and abuse in Chicago.
Book 'em.
Reportedly, he's being peed on at this moment. And that's all we got for
Great segment.
Wow.
today in history.
A lot going on. Or a lot went on.
A lot went on. Yes, Greg, that is right. All right. Well, we're going to get into our rant. It is not a sports rant. It is a life rant, and that is talking a little bit about what's going on here. Our show is based in Minnesota, where everything is happening. Last Monday, George Floyd was murdered by a Minneapolis police officer who is now in custody, and our state is basically on fire. So we're just going to dive into that for a minute. Greg?
Okay, what I want to ask everyone to do is, it's a famous quote, be the change you want to see in the world. In 1983, my dad was sworn in as police chief. He was 30 years old. To this day, he's still the youngest police chief ever sworn in the state of Wisconsin. Standing next to me at the time during all the photo ops, because the news was there, was my 7-year-old twin brother. From the time that my dad, so throughout our entire life, my dad was a police officer. Police chief, police officer, and my twin brother Danny, after 5 days after we graduated from high school, went on to serve for 5 years as an airborne ranger in the military. When he got out, he immediately went back to school to get the rest of the credits he needed and became a cop. He's now a 44-year-old police captain in the city that we grew up in. It is a fairly large city. What he did was he looked at the reputation that my dad had bestowed upon himself and became the change that he wanted to see. He serves and protects the community that he grew up in. When you watch all of this horror that's going on in our world, we're actually watching people destroy the communities that they live in. Ladies and gentlemen, what I ask you, look to that person next to you. They're your neighbor. Be the change that you want to see. Be the person. Raise your children to be the pillar of the community that they live in and be the change for the better.
Thanks, Greg. Good stuff.
That was great. That was uplifting. I'm not gonna be so uplifting. I'm pissed. Not only about obviously what happened to George Floyd, which was murder, and hopefully, that bigot piece of shit cop gets, his time and gets justice. The sad thing, Greg just mentioned, it's the community burning the community, which just isn't true. That's not Minnesotans. That's people coming in from states like Wisconsin and Chicago, and they're busting these people in, and that's the sad thing to me. Is it's the ignorance that one piece of shit guy can spread across a country. It's not just Minnesota that's burning their cities anymore. It's a lot of these major metropolitan areas, and the ignorance it spreads. For instance, last night I was telling these guys earlier, I live in Faribault, which is a small community in Minnesota. It's probably about an hour from downtown Minneapolis. And I happened to be outside about midnight. We didn't have a curfew in little old Faribault. But there was police officers were arresting a white male, probably in his 20s, who I had heard from some of the people out, ran from him on foot with a backpack. Well, there was a group of about 10 people sitting there, F the police, F this, F that, at the police. And that's what's sad is, a few bad apples, there's a ripple down effect that makes it like all these cops out there are bad. It's like, this is in Faribault, Minnesota, and they're arresting a 20-some white guy who, when watching the cops empty his bag, had Ziplocs of drugs and scales. I mean, he was guilty and he was white. And yet the reaction to the police officers were screw you. I mean, that's the ignorance that this causes, and burning down cities isn't going to get a point across. There's a way to handle this in a right way and to positively protest. But it seems like, especially here, that moment has passed. And a lot of that comes down to the leadership in this state. Our Governor Walz is, from the pandemic on down, has handled himself piss poorly. To have zero police presence downtown during any of this, he keeps talking a good game, but the walking you see, you don't, because there's nobody down there. They're continuing to allow this to happen. So it's just sad. We have to learn, to love and to do this together, and the hate's, burning our city down. Minneapolis is one of the best cities, in the country, as far as I'm concerned. And it's getting torched right now. So it's a sad time. And we wanted to touch on it here on Twist, where we're mostly sports, but, have to dive into the deep stuff too. So that's all I got.
Yeah. For me, on this whole tragedy, with George Floyd, and George Floyd's family has came forward and talked about how if George were to be around and to have seen what his death transpired into this, ashes of a city, he would be devastated. Because we really have to focus on justice at this point. You have to seek justice, and the pillaging and the looting and the burning cities to the ground, that's not creating a positive platform for justice to be served. It's really difficult to watch. It's really difficult to having to console. I don't have kids, but I can only imagine trying to explain to your children what is going on in the Twin Cities. You know, there is peaceful protests that are going on, and that's perfectly acceptable. You know, but for us to have to sit back while these outsiders, for the most part, that's not to say that there's not Minnesotans contributing to this damage. There is, but for the most part, to see these outsiders take advantage of a situation and use it to their benefit and to break cities apart and communities apart that are going to have to rebuild, and we will rebuild. But it's tragic, you know? So, our thoughts go out to all those affected. Our thoughts go out to George Floyd's family and just the community of Minneapolis, St. Paul, and all over the United States right now. It's definitely something that should be talked about, and hopefully justice can be served soon.
Well, good stuff. Now, what you've all been waiting for, it's our newest segment.
Say what?
Say what? Damian Lillard, NBA ball player for the Portland Trailblazers, doesn't plan to participate in resumed season if the Blazers don't have a true opportunity to make the playoffs. From Damian Lillard himself, I'm not going to be participating. I'm telling you that right now. And you can put that shit in there.
Yeah.
Say what? Oh my.
So do you blame him?
Yes.
Okay, let's hear why.
Well, because you get a paycheck to play ball,
right?
And it doesn't matter at the beginning of the season. Are you not going to play if you know you're on one of the worst teams in the NBA? You know, who's one of the worst teams out there?
Us. Okay.
Besides Minnesota, I don't want to harp on our team.
Oh, okay.
Let's just say the Knicks.
Yeah.
You know, you got RJ Barrett.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not going to play this season. We suck. Let's just tank and you know, get some other piece of shit, you know, to add to this
I
mess.
get what you're saying. I definitely think that they should have a strategy set in point where it's only going to include teams that are in the running for a championship. The teams that are trash shouldn't get paid anymore. They're trash. Their season's over. That's just from my point of view. I think that if their season's over, why should they have to come back? Minnesota should not have to come back. What if Carl comes back and pulls, you know, a horrific injury when he didn't even need to come back?
Horribly horrific. I don't want
that.
I don't want us to come back, because if he comes back, we might win. I'm not trying to win anymore.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Push us out.
Yeah.
We'll keep the record we got.
All right. There's the truth. On to the next one.
Greg, you have anything to say about say what?
Yeah, this is a one-time thing. This isn't going to happen with baseball or football. It's because there's only 10, 12 games left in the season for these guys.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that really the problem is that if these teams that don't have a chance don't come back, they're going to be off for like 8 months before the season would restart. So that's almost too much time to get out of shape. So really though, to be honest with you, if these guys are so worried about putting people in clusters and corona, then yeah, you know what? If you don't need to be there, then don't. Yeah. And if you're not going to put in the effort, my dad taught me in high school that if you're not putting in 100% effort, you're actually at more of a risk of getting injured. So if these guys aren't putting in 100% effort and they're just mailing it in, there's probably a better likelihood that they're going to get hurt and then possibly be hurt for the next season. So yeah, you know what? Damian Lillard, if you don't want to play, you know what? Go on a beach somewhere, and then your team's got to deal with you being out of shape next season.
You ain't going on the banana boat with my boys, though, you little bitch.
Holy fuck. This show is rated MA, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah. We're going to get a call from RTF being like, can you guys tone it down?
No, we're well past the 10-minute mark, and here we are. I need that pen, GBG.
Woo!
All right, now I have to warn you, Doge might be smiling behind us, but he is not happy.
Look at those pearly whites.
Doge pulled off
What
the
a
win
smile.
last week,
Yeah, you can't go for the back-to-back, Doge.
but I have a new game called Closest to the Pin, which means our two hosts, GBG and Benz,
That's right.
whoever's closest to the pin will get the point. All right. So let's get started.
Yeah.
Now, these first 4 questions are going to be the most combined points in a single game. We will start.
Do we get 2 points if we nail it on the number?
Greg, shut up. Most combined points in a single game. We will start in the NFL. You don't need to ring in.
Right.
We'll start with Matt.
Oh, man. All right, single game.
Single game.
Most points scored. I am going to go with 122.
Okay.
That's actually what I was going to say.
Oh, I'm sure it was, Greg.
I'm going to say 123.
And that logic gets it wrong. The price is wrong, bitch. The correct answer is 113.
Let's go.
Will our hosts continue to play The Price is
Let's
Right,
go.
or will they expand their game? Question number 2. Let's give Benzino the point.
Yep.
Most combined points in a single game. Little puck. Little NHL. Greg.
19.
Well, then 18.
That's for Greg.
Really?
Right on the nose.
Wow, good job, Greg.
Right on the nose.
I had to take
Remember
the
watching-
under. I had to take the under on it. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't I?
Hey, Terry, I want you to rewatch this episode, see if he's looking at my paper, okay? He's not
Wow.
he's not that smart.
Let's lock it in
I've
here.
never watched an entire hockey game in my life.
Yeah, even when I
Unbelievable.
took him to the arena.
You don't have to watch a hockey game to cheat, Greg.
Yeah, no big.
Most combined points in a single game. MLB.
Ooh, it's
Matt.
gonna be up there. I'm gonna take 30.
Greg.
Oh, I'm going to go over. I think it's like 32. I'm going to go over.
Greg.
So 32.
49.
Wow. Holy cow. Can you imagine how long that game took?
Unbelievable. I
Oh,
didn't write
man.
the stats for each of these games, but you can Google fact check me. I'm right. Okay. All right. Most combined points in a single game in the NBA.
242.
Holy shit. That's okay.
243.
Wow. They are going to do it this way.
Yeah, well, you got it. Over under. Statistics.
Well, Matt is closest to the pin.
yeah.
But by closest to the pin, meaning he, teed off and went 2 feet. The answer is 370.
Oh, thanks,
Wow.
Greg. Thanks, Greg.
So you were closest to the pin by a long ways.
By a whole over.
Oh,
That was like in the challenge last week in the match when someone said, "Hey, you made the fairway," and Tiger goes, "Yeah, the 7th." And they were
Yeah.
like on 12.
Oh, man. What's the score here?
2-2.
Oh, I love it.
All right. So let's turn over to golf, Greg.
Okay.
The lowest golf score in the PGA history.
59.
55.
Greg? This isn't over under. This is closest to the pin, and the answer is 58.
Go!
Someone has
You
shot.
said 59?
Yeah.
I should have did the under.
Yeah.
Damn it. See? Oh, I got swindled. I overthought it.
Green Bay Greg takes a lead 3-2.
Oh, I need this win, man.
I do want to say that closest to the pin is brought to you by Bricks Boatworks.
Oh, Brick!
Yes.
Bricks. Welcome to
Sorry,
the club.
sorry, forgot about you for the interview, but we don't
Bricks.
forget about you on the show. Get down to Bricks Boatworks for all your boat needs. It's
Yeah.
getting warm out there. People are going topless boating. I
Think
heard.
they aren't?
Really?
Yeah, topless
Yeah.
boating.
I
It's a
believe
new
it.
thing.
And it's all men. Imagine that. All right, here we go.
All right, so 3-2 lead.
Here I
Thank you,
come.
Bricks Boatworks.
Thanks, Bricks.
All right, this is a single game. Most goals by one player. Matt.
In hockey? That's what we're going with, not soccer?
Is soccer a sport? Yes, hockey.
All right, let's just be specific for the listeners.
Sure.
here. So hockey, most goals by a single player. 7.
I'm gonna say 6.
Benzino on the nose with 7 to tie the game up 3-3. Now we've had 2 hole-in-ones here on the
No
show.
big deal. I should get a ring for that.
Congratulations. Single game. Most home runs by one player.
5.
6.
Well, Matt, closest to the pin. That's right. I think I'm not going to do that's right because it's technically not right. We'll just
How many?
We'll give you a round of
There you
applause
go.
after every win. It was 8.
Wow.
8 home runs in a single game. I believe it was back in like 1904.
Juiced.
Oh God.
Chewing. What's that tobacco?
Big League Chew.
No, that's
Tobacco.
that's
Greg.
gum, Greg. All right.
Levi Garrett.
Oh man,
Redman.
there it is, Red Man. That's what.
Oh
it
yeah.
is.
The rapper.
Oh my god, how am I on this show?
Great movie. How High. Starring Method Man and Redman. Now, how high amount of points in the NBA by a single player? Matt. What? Are you
100.
supposed to go first?
No, you give him this.
100.
It's kind of famous. Most points
100?
by a player in a
Okay,
game.
what is it?
Okay,
It's kind of famous.
either this is a trick question or it's Will Chamberlain with 100. So I'm going to say over 101.
No, Matt's right. 100 on the nose.
Yeah, thank you.
We could have had a tie, but Greg, like
It's
usual,
not my fault.
How can
is
I can't-
overthinking things.
How can I say the same thing he did?
Because
Why
then
not?
it's a wash and you don't go down by 1. The score
It's closest to the pin, Greg.
of closest to the pin.
There you go, overthinking it again, Greg.
Benz has got 2 hole-in-ones.
Like
Oh,
the rest
yeah.
of my life.
This is history right here. Most NBA, nope, just did that one. Most passing touchdowns in a single game in the NFL. Greg,
9.
Matt.
8.
The answer is 7-point Benz.
I'm running away here. How many questions are left?
Let's see. It's 5-3. There are 5 questions
Oh wow.
remaining.
This is
A lot of
barn
meat
burner.
left on that bone.
There is.
Here we go.
All right. Staying in the NFL, most receiving touchdowns in a game.
Matt, 5. You like that? I buzzed in.
Yeah, sure.
You like that?
I'm going to say 5.
Tie. Both of you
job, Greg.
are right.
Good job. Yeah.
He's learning, people.
Here we
He's
go.
learning.
I'll take a tie. That's a
Most
point for me.
rushing touchdowns in the NFL in a game.
I'm going to say 5.
I'll say 4.
Greg, hole in 1.
I do know what it's like to get a hole in one.
Yeah, so do I.
There you go.
Disc golf, Moyer
Yeah.
Park off 106th in Bloomington.
Doesn't count. if
Not
it's-
one of those chained ones. It was a hard top, so I had to fit it, in about a
Oh yeah.
foot.
Threaded it.
threaded it.
Chains.
Way harder than golf hole in 1.
Cash.
I had to hit a golf ball further than the distance of a football field. in
Yeah,
order to
that
put
was that
thing.
bump and putt in Nisswa, Minnesota. Through the clown's mouth.
Nobody cares,
Here
Greg.
we go.
All right, so it is 4-5.
Yep.
Did we just do rushing touchdowns? Greg
Yep.
got me off on my. Okay. 3 questions remaining. All 3 are in the NBA. Little basketball. Basketball Jones. You think they're going to have a good soundtrack for Space Jam like that?
Oh, you think they won't?
Oh, the first
Oh.
soundtrack was phenomenal. All right. Blocks in a game.
Is it me?
Sure.
Blocks in a game. I'm gonna go with 19.
Greg.
I'm gonna go over 9 and 20. I'm gonna say over.
The answer is 17, and the point goes to Benz.
Go.
A 2-point lead with 2
Oh.
questions to go. I
Come on.
hope Matt loses or wins because I'm not trying to hop on the communication device and come up with another question. But Greg can tie with 2 questions remaining. Greg, you can lead it off. NBA rebounds in a game.
28.
$28.
Wow.
You like that?
What a dick.
You like that? Let's go, baby.
I didn't see that coming.
Strategy.
Wow.
They think I'm the dumb one.
Wow,
There we
Matt
go.
with the victory.
Yeah. You like that?
Unbelievable.
Analytics, baby. That's a shock. at the
Bill
education.
Russell actually has it with 55.
Greg, you see that?
Wow.
You see how I
That's
felt that?
fantastic. This is twist history right here,
now,
folks.
Kelly and Kevin are ashamed of you.
Oh God,
They're
I'm
so
proud.
proud.
I'm
What do you
proud of
mean?
my brother
Oh, no.
here. Just for fun,
Sure.
assists in a game.
Yeah. We'll go with
3,200,000.
31.
I was going to say 32.
Is that what you're sticking with, Greg?
Yeah.
All right. Well, the answer is 30. So Ben's would have won anyway, but God, that was good.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that, that there was ties and
Yeah.
wow.
What's you in the lead and you only all right, you go. I'll guess exactly what you say. It's brilliant.
Unbelievable.
Brilliant. Thank you to all the listeners on RTF. Raise the flag for Benzie,
I don't think
baby.
there's any comments
Raise
on that.
the flag.
See if there's any shame in the Benz family right now.
Oh, my mom is so proud. She's making sure your cheesecake's sitting outside to spoil right now.
Yeah,
You was about to say, yeah, what's up with that? Oh, man.
Yes.
This gets you pumped.
Woo!
Oh, let's go.
It's time you've been waiting for.
Oh.
The topics of the week. The twist topics of the week. Let's fire away.
Twist topic number 1.
You know it. Oh, Greg takes his pen back immediately. He's not even going to write with it. It's just a nervous tick. Should the Jets extend Jamal Adams? What's going on with the Jamal Adams drama in the Big Apple?
what is it with the Jets in getting cornerbacks that feel that they're more important than the rest of the team?
Well, he's a safety first and foremost. So.
DBs.
DBs.
Okay.
I don't know. His talent wise, yeah, I would extend him. But when you're the Jets and you have so many needs, the amount of money you're going to have to pay him, you almost need to spread over 3 or 4 players. So do they extend him? If you want him to be the cornerstone of your defense, then yeah. But if you want to spend that money elsewhere, then you can't. So what's my answer to that? I say no.
Okay, and then I'm going to disagree, and I'm going to say yes. Why you do so is because that's the market that he's in. He's in the entertainment market, New York, right? So he's going to bring that to the team. He's gonna put butts in the seats and he's gonna sell jerseys. He's a Pro Bowler. You hang on to your Pro Bowlers until they're not Pro Bowlers anymore. Feed him some cash. You don't have to be a super long contract. He probably doesn't even necessarily want that. He just wants a bag. Give him a bag.
So we have yes, we have no. I'm leaning Matt here. He is maybe this is his 3rd season. He's already one of the most dominant safeties in the NFL. And you have some of their big name players. You got to look at it. Quinnen Williams just got popped with a gun. So it's like, are they going to pay him in a couple years? Is he even going to play this year? Yeah. So you got a guy like Jamal Adams who could be, the cornerstone of that defense and that team. Yeah. You got him heading the defense. You got
Le'Veon.
Sam Darnold. Le'Veon.
Guy looks like
Le'Veon, baby.
Sam Darnold looks like the human version of a Lego character.
He's not a very good looking guy. He does look like a Lego character, doesn't he?
Easy stretch.
That's fantastic. I never thought about that.
Oh my God, Legoland.
So yes, sign him.
Sign him.
Twist topic number 2.
So no, we won't be discussing the match, which Ben's just came off with a glorifying victory. We're going to talk about the match last weekend between Tiger and Peyton versus Phil and Tom Brady. Did you guys watch it? What were your thoughts? What was it exciting? Would you watch it next year? I want to hear it all.
So my thoughts on it. I'm not a golfer, but I watched it. I liked it because you got to see how the minds of the best work. Phil really explaining himself or to his teammate, especially what to do on certain hits was pretty cool to watch. Also, just to see how much better the best golfers are than the best other athletes are at their trade.
Yeah.
So I thought it was entertaining. I thought the weather was really dampering on it. Literally,
It was damp. It was raining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a little musty out there, a little boggy. But yeah, all in all, I liked it. I'd watch it again.
I watched every second of it, and I'm a big Phil fan, being a lefty. But I agree with Matt. I agree with Matt that it was fun watching Phil kind of give his perspective. But I think what it did more than anything else was it drew interest for future years. Last year, the day after Thanksgiving, it was just Tiger against Phil, and that was kind of boring because Tiger really doesn't have a personality that he's going to share. Whereas Phil is very, charismatic, and so is Peyton. So I think, and then during the match, you had guys tweeting in, "Hey, me and so against the winner," or whoever it is. So now they're talking Steph Curry, Brooks Koepka. Who are you going to get in to do, the next round of this? Or is it just going to be Phil and Tiger? But the interest is already brewing for next year, which is, hey, with the climate that we're living in right now, there's going to be some charity to play for again next year.
Yeah.
So keep it going.
The viewership was there, I think, mostly because there's nothing else going on. I watched about the first 9 holes, and by watch, I mean I was daydreaming. It was probably the most boring thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It was horrible. So that's all I got for that. But apparently, consensus is watch it. We'll see you next year.
Yeah.
Twist topic number 3.
There's a big Quan $20 million offer on the table for Mike Tyson to fight. Should he take the dollar bills, y'all?
Wow.
Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, why not? If he's, they're showing all this video of him training. He's training. Lennox Lewis is training. Evander Holyfield is training. All these guys are. Go for it. If people are going to watch it, if you're going to make money, do it. Go nuts. Show what a 53-year-old man can do. A 57-year-old man. That's how old these guys are. Go for it. Have at it.
I'm once again going to have to disagree. I think that he shouldn't do it because boxing has worked so hard to just get a following that's not a joke.
Yeah.
You've got Dante Wilder, you've got the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury, and what they've done to the sport of boxing in bringing it back as a legitimate thing, not just some circus. And that's exactly what this would be, as a circus. Also, Tyson doesn't have to get in the ring and show how old he is because he's already got all the highlights. He's already proven himself as a champion. So don't pull an old Michael Jordan mistake and come back when you're not at your peak. Just stay out.
Easy answer. Anytime anybody's offered $20 million, you take that shit.
Twist topic number 4.
Let's fire through these. NBA GM would try like hell to trade the number 1 pick in the upcoming draft.
Yeah.
Would you try like hell to trade that pick?
Of course I would. This draft is a joke, for one. For two, you didn't even get March Madness. So to see who the fan favorites are, to see what jerseys are going to sell, to see what's going to happen as your franchise, the best of the best, the tape isn't there on them. So yeah, I'm going to try to trade away for future picks. That's my opinion.
Yeah, this would be the year to do it because there isn't a Zion, and like Matt was saying, there was no March Madness to bring you a Zion. There's been years where there were guys. Not a lot of people knew who Steph Curry was before, the NCAA tournament, and they, started beating teams that they didn't need to. One of them being Wisconsin, but it showed who Steph Curry was. So you didn't even get that opportunity. So yeah, I say trade it.
Trade that shit.
Twist topic number 5.
Numero 5.
There it is, bilingual.
Sticking with the GMs, this time in the NFL.
Yeah.
NFL GM comes out and says Cam Newton's decline is evident. Is he right or is he high?
You go ahead and start this one.
Me?
Yeah, you're a Cam fan.
Yeah, this guy's a douchebag.
GM.
The GM knows nothing.
Okay.
The guy's what, 30 years old? Tom Brady's 72 and still playing, but Cam's on a decline.
So this was obviously an anonymous GM.
Yes, it just says NFL GM. That's why you go anonymous when you make
I
bullshit
think it's a lot
statements.
of smoke. I mean, you've got starting quarterbacks in the league that are they can't decline because they're already garbage. So to say that Cam couldn't spark a team is hogwash. So
Yeah, I think that Cam still has a whole lot left in the tank. I think that right now, it's just an unfortunate circumstance with timing that he's not allowed to show off. But the man is way too big and way too talented to be in a decline. The guy shoots off defenders like they're flies. So whoever takes a chance on him is going to reap the benefits of it.
Yep.
All right. Following up on the rants that we did, I have a challenge for everyone, and it goes back to 4 years ago. I was watching my then 7-year-old daughter and 5-year-old son at a park, and they were playing with other kids. It was a pretty large park. There was probably maybe 20, 30 kids there. And these kids were from all different socioeconomic backgrounds, different races. There were white kids, black kids, Asians, anything you can imagine. Their parents might have been of different sexual orientations. It didn't matter. And they were playing with all of these kids. And on the way home, we were bouncing the basketball. We were walking, and all my kids kept saying to me at that young age was, "Oh, my new friend, this, my new friend, my new friend, my new friend." And my kids are now 4 years older. We still go to parks, and I watch them interact with those same types of kids of all different races, all different genders, parents of all different socioeconomic backgrounds, and play with those kids in the same way. So what I want to ask everyone in society now is take yourself back to when you were a kid on the playground. We can all go back to the playground.
Yeah.
That's it. Episode 26 is in the books.
Don't forget to share this. Don't forget to watch us next week when we got Ben Lieber, former Vikes. Ben Lieber, Nacho Libre, on the show next week. Buckle up. Have a safe weekend. Love each other.